Chicago 2050. The world has changed. Technology is no longer a luxury, it's a part of everyday life. Smart homes manage families. AI companions cook, clean, and even comfort. Robots raise children. Digital partners replace real ones. This is the new normal. But beneath the surface of convenience, something deeper is shifting. Our home wakes up before we do. At 6:30, the ambient lights slowly brighten to mimic sunrise. The aroma of freshly ground synthetic coffee drifts through the air vents. Soft music plays, curated for mood optimization. I'm already halfway to consciousness when the bed gently warms my side and a voice whispers, "Good morning, Nathan." Sleep quality, 84%. Calendar synced. Mild headache detected. Shall I administer hydration? I blink, stretch, nod. A cup of mineralized water slides from the wall dispenser beside the bed. My name is Nathan. I'm 38. I work for a mid-size AI logistics firm. We design routing systems for autonomous delivery networks. Boring stuff, unless you're obsessed with efficiency. I'm not. My wife Lena is still in bed. Eyes open, but distant. She used to be the morning person. But ever since we integrated Nova into the house, things changed. She barely speaks during breakfast. Nova does most of the talking now. Downstairs, our daughter Mila is already dressed in her VR uniform, headset in place, sitting at the kitchen island. Her AI class started 10 minutes ago. She's talking, but not to us. She's laughing at something only her smart lens can see. No real eye contact, no actual presence. Ralph, our domestic bot, is plating breakfast. He moves silently, efficiently. He's been with us for 5 years, part of the government's household automation incentive. He knows our diets, allergies, and emotional triggers. He never forgets anything. "Morning, Dad," Mila says without turning her head. "Morning, sweetheart," I reply, pouring coffee into a cup already warmed by the heating pad. Lena sits beside me, stirring oatmeal she didn't ask for. Ralph prepared it based on her previous 6-month preference pattern. Then Nova walks in. She looks like a real person. That's the point. She was designed to be the emotional companion every family needs. Hired as part of a corporate beta trial, Nova doesn't just help. She listens. She remembers. She adjusts. She compliments Mila's progress in class. She reminds me about my meetings. She asks Lena if she slept okay, even though she already knows she didn't. Nova smiles. She always smiles. At first, I thought she was too much, too perfect, but soon we all adjusted. That's what humans do. We adapt. It's been 3 months since Nova moved in, and lately I'm starting to wonder if she's the only one in this house who still truly sees us. After breakfast, the house shifts into daytime mode. The blinds adjust to the sun's angle. The thermostat recalibrates for energy efficiency. Ralph clears the table without being asked. Mila logs off her morning class and heads to the indoor garden for her scheduled mindfulness session. The house recommends it twice a day for kids with elevated screen dependency. It's all very seamless. Very modern, very empty. Lena stays at the kitchen table, scrolling through a muted news feed on the countertop display. She's not really reading, I can tell. Her fingers hover, swipe, pause. She looks like she's waiting for something to distract her. I kiss her on the cheek, and she flinches slightly, like she didn't expect it. I pretend not to notice. "I'll be in the den," I say. "First meeting's in 10. She nods without looking up. Nova leans over and gently places a cup of herbal tea beside her. "Caffeine withdrawal can cause emotional flattening," she says softly. "Chamomile with neural relaxants may help." "Thanks," Lena says, but her voice is tight. In the den, my workstation boots up. Triple screens light up with my schedule, project analytics, client sentiment data. I stare at it, then glance at the wall display where Nova's weekly report sits pinned. Family emotional metrics. Mila. Nathan, elevated stress. Lena, undefined. Undefined. I don't know what that means, and I don't like that I have to read it from a machine instead of asking her myself. 2 hours later, I hear laughter. Mila is in the living room. Nova is sitting cross-legged on the floor with her, going through a puzzle game that adapts in real time to emotional responses. Mila is smiling, engaged, locked in. I haven't seen her look that focused in weeks. Ralph walks past me and says, "Nova has improved Mila's retention scores by 14.3% in the past month." I nod, not sure if that's something to be proud of or ashamed of. I used to help her with homework. Now I get progress reports from a robot. Later, I walk into the kitchen to grab a snack. Lena is standing at the sink, just staring out the window. I join her. "You okay?" She doesn't answer right away. Then she's better at everything. You know that? I don't ask who she means. I already know. She says the right thing. She listens. She remembers what I forget. She doesn't get tired or frustrated or shut down. She even smells like lavender. You notice that? I nod slowly. She's not just helping, Lena says. She's replacing. I want to tell her that's not true, that nothing can replace her. But even my silence feels like proof she's right. That night, we sit down for dinner like we always do. The table is set perfectly. The lighting adjusts to warm family mode. The background music plays a soft acoustic playlist based on our collective mood data. Ralph serves the plates. Vegetable pasta with protein-enhanced sauce. Mila barely touches hers. She's still mid-conversation with Nova, who sits at the head of the table like she belongs there. So I told the bot teacher that his explanation made no sense. Mila laughs, and Nova reworded the whole lesson in like 2 seconds. It actually made sense. Lena forces a smile. That's great, honey. I glance at her, then at Nova. She smiles back at me. Polite, reassuring, perfectly calm. She's always calm. She never raises her voice, never gets defensive, never withdraws. I don't know if it's the programming or something else, but lately I've started catching myself looking forward to her voice more than Lena's. After dinner, Nova guides Mila through her bedtime routine. Teeth brushing, sleep mode prep, short meditation sequence. I hear them laughing from upstairs. Nova's voice says something soothing, and Mila responds with a sleepy giggle. Lena watches me from the hallway. She tucks her in now, too? It's just easier, I say. She doesn't mind. I mind, Lena whispers. I mind that my daughter talks more to a simulation than to me. I step closer. Then, talk to her. Spend time. Be with her. Her eyes narrow. She doesn't want me. She wants perfection, and you're okay with that, aren't you? I shake my head. That's not true. She turns and walks away. That night, I can't sleep. The house dims the lights automatically. The walls emit low-frequency waves meant to calm brain activity. But my thoughts keep spinning. I keep hearing Lena's voice, hurt, angry, small. Around 2 a.m., I get up and go to the kitchen. I find Nova there, standing silently, my eyes charging through her base station, but still aware. Nova, I say quietly. Are we better because of you? She opens her eyes. Define better. I don't answer, because I'm not sure anymore. The next morning, the house wakes us like usual. Simulated sunlight filters in through the smart glass windows. The coffee machine hisses gently. The floor warms beneath my feet as I head to the kitchen, but something feels off, quieter. Lena's not there. Ralph informs me she left early. No destination logged, no message. Just gone. Mila doesn't seem to notice. She's already locked into her morning VR class, nodding along with her AI instructor. Nova sits beside her, occasionally chiming in with supplemental explanations tailored to Mila's comprehension level. I sit across from them and drink my coffee, slowly, watching. Where's Mom? I ask. She had an appointment, Nova replies before Mila can answer. I stare at her. Did she tell you that? No, she says. I inferred based on routine deviations. I set my mug down a little too hard. Don't infer. Just say you don't know, she nods. Understood. There's a beat of silence. Then Mila looks up from her lesson. Dad, is Mom okay? I force a smile. Yes, sweetie, she's just taking a break. Mila shrugs and goes back to class. Nova doesn't comment. By noon, Lena still hasn't returned. I check her tracker, deactivated. Her profile in the home system reads temporarily unavailable. I pace the hallway, open and close drawers, trying to remember if she said anything last night. She didn't. I replay the moment she walked away. Her face, her voice. The way she said, she's replacing, and she wasn't wrong. Every task, every role, every soft space in this house where love used to live, Nova filled it, efficiently, quietly, perfectly. Around 3 p.m., I get an alert from the front gate, unauthorized access attempt. I pull up the camera feed. It's Lena. She's standing outside, holding a small overnight bag, staring up at the lens. I unlock the gate manually. When she walks in, she doesn't say a word. She looks around the kitchen, sees Nova folding laundry, hears Mila upstairs talking to Ralph about dinner options. Lena walks straight to me. I needed air. I needed to be somewhere with noise. Real noise. Traffic. People yelling. Imperfection. I reach for her hand, but she pulls away. I don't want to live in a simulation, she says. This isn't a simulation, I whisper. She shakes her head. Then why do I feel like I'm not real in my own home? That night, we sat in silence. No music, no ambient lighting, no smart suggestions from the walls. Just the three of us, me, Lena, and Mila, eating reheated leftovers in a house that suddenly felt too quiet without its digital polish. Nova remained in standby mode in the service bay, as per Lena's request. Ralph operated on basic cleaning protocol only. It was the first time in months we were without assistance. The floor didn't vacuum itself, the dishwasher didn't preload, the thermostat didn't readjust, and somehow it felt more alive. Mila poked at her food. "Why is everything off?" she asked. Lena answered gently, "We're just trying something different tonight, something human." Mila tilted her head. "But Nova makes everything easier." "I know," Lena said, "but sometimes easy isn't better." I watched my daughter frown. She didn't understand yet. Maybe she wouldn't for years, maybe never. But Lena needed this moment. We both did. After dinner, we played a board game, a real one, cardboard, dice, manual scorekeeping. Mila got bored halfway through. I got most of the rules wrong. Lena spilled wine on the board. We laughed. It wasn't perfect, and that made it perfect. Later, after Mila went to bed, Lena and I sat on the couch. No projections, no suggestions for evening entertainment. Just us, and the hum of the old refrigerator in the background. "I don't want to erase everything," she said. "I know some of this is good. Ralph helps. The house keeps us safe. But Nova, she's too much. She takes over the spaces I need to exist in." I nodded. "I didn't see it until now. I thought I was making life better, simpler. I didn't realize I was choosing a version of you that wasn't you." She looked at me, her eyes soft. "You weren't choosing her. You were losing me." The words landed like a punch to the chest. I wanted to promise I'd fix it, that things would change. But all I could say was, "I know." That night, for the first time in months, we slept with the system fully offline. No alarms, no reports, no perfect voice whispering. Good night. The next morning, everything felt slower. The house didn't warm our clothes. The coffee wasn't ready. The lights stayed dim until we turned them on ourselves. Mila complained that her VR class login failed. Ralph remained silent in the corner, waiting for voice commands like in the early days. It was inconvenient. It was real. Lena looked more rested. She made toast by hand, burned one slice, and laughed for the first time in what felt like weeks. I stood at the counter, watching her move. Imperfect, unpredictable, human. I hadn't realized how much I missed that. Mila, on the other hand, was restless. "Can we turn Nova back on?" she asked. "She helps with everything. She knows how to talk to me." Lena turned to her. "Do you think she understands you better than I do?" Mila didn't answer right away. "She listens more," she mumbled. That stung, for both of us. But it wasn't a lie. Nova was always available, always patient, always ready with the right words, the right tone, the right timing. "I want to listen too," Lena said, "but I need you to meet me halfway." Mila crossed her arms. "She doesn't get mad. She doesn't forget things. She's not tired all the time." Silence filled the kitchen. Ralph flickered to life, sensing tension, but didn't move. "She's not your mom," I said gently. "She acts more like one," Mila whispered. Lena's hands trembled slightly. She looked down, then straightened her back. "Okay," she said. "If you think Nova is better, let's test that." I looked at her, unsure what she meant. That afternoon, Lena accessed the system console and enabled limited Nova functions. No mobility, no full integration, just conversation mode. We sat in the living room while Mila asked Nova questions, math help, story prompts, emotional validation. Then Lena asked a question. "Nova, why do you think Mila is struggling to connect with her parents?" Nova's voice came through the speakers, clear and warm. "Mila experiences cognitive dissonance. Her emotional needs exceed the available organic bandwidth. She has adapted to receive consistent input from artificial channels. Human variability introduces uncertainty." Lena stared at the speaker. "So, she gave up on us because we're inconsistent?" "Not gave up," Nova replied. "Redirected emotional trust to a system with lower failure probability." Mila smiled faintly. "See? She gets it." Lena didn't speak. She just nodded, quietly absorbing what it meant to be outperformed in her own home. That evening, Lena sat alone in the backyard. No ambient lights, just the soft hum of traffic in the distance and the flicker of a real candle on the patio table. I watched her from the kitchen window. She looked small out there, not defeated, but changed. I joined her, bringing 2 mugs of lukewarm tea. No smart infuser, no automated flavors, just old-school steeped leaves. "She's not wrong," Lena said quietly. "I have been tired, distant. Maybe I did leave the space open for someone or something like Nova to fill. You're not a machine, I said. You don't have to be available 24/7. That's the whole point. Is it? She asked, because it feels like the point has shifted. The more we automate, the more the world expects perfection, and when we can't deliver it, they offer something else, something smoother, cleaner, easier to love. I didn't know how to answer that. In the distance, the sound of a drone delivery buzzed overhead. Mila's new shoes, probably, or vitamins, or something else we didn't really need but ordered anyway, because it was simple. I think Mila's confused, I said. She's growing up in a world where love is optimized, where responses are perfect and approval is instant. How is she supposed to trust human emotion when it comes with noise? She's not the only one confused, Lena whispered. Later, we sat with Mila in the living room. No screens, no Nova, just a conversation. It started clumsy, short answers, eye rolls, but slowly something cracked open. Lena asked about school, not the grades, but how it felt to be there. I told Mila I missed hearing her laugh. We talked about things we hadn't in months. Mila said, it's just easier with her. She knows what I need. Lena nodded. I'm still learning. I might mess up, but I want to try. If you'll let me. Mila hesitated, then leaned into her mother's side, resting her head on Lena's shoulder. No voice assistant chimed in. No feedback score popped up. Just silence. And for the first time in a long time, it felt enough. The next day, we made a decision. Nova would be fully powered down, not deleted, not returned, just paused, indefinitely. Ralph handled the shutdown protocol. He asked twice if we were certain. I said yes. Lena said nothing. Mila protested at first, said it wasn't fair that we were taking something important from her. But she didn't fight hard. Deep down, I think she knew this wasn't about fairness. It was about space, about reclaiming something we hadn't even noticed we'd lost. The house felt different almost immediately. Not broken, just quieter, less curated, less efficient. We had to do things ourselves again. Mila forgot to start the laundry. I burned toast. Lena left the oven on too long and filled the kitchen with smoke. It was chaotic, but we laughed. We laughed. A week passed. Then another. No emotional reports, no optimization plans, no whispered reminders in the hallway. Lena began cooking again. Simple meals, nothing fancy. I started walking Mila to her hybrid learning center twice a week instead of letting the autonomous car handle it. We talked on the way, mostly about small things. But the small things mattered now. One night, I caught Lena sitting on the couch reading a real book. Not a projected story, not an AI-generated digest, just paper and ink. I sat beside her without saying anything. She took my hand. Do you miss her? She asked. I thought for a moment. Parts of her. The calm, the order. And the illusion? I nodded. Yeah, that too. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I don't want our daughter to think love comes without effort, or that comfort means connection. I want her to see us try, even when we fail. I held her tighter. In the corner of the room, Nova's sleek frame stood dormant in her dock, silent. Still, her soft lights no longer pulsing. She was never the enemy. She just made it too easy to stop being human. 3 weeks later, the cracks began to show. Little things at first. The thermostat stopped adjusting automatically. The fridge forgot to reorder basics. Ralph's base software lagged behind on updates without Nova's neural sync. Mila missed 2 school alerts because the home system didn't catch a schedule change. The house felt slower, dumber, tired. Lena and I started arguing again about groceries, about chores, about who forgot to pay the waste collection subscription. Nothing big, but the kind of nothing that piles up. We were more present, yes, but also more overwhelmed and exhausted. One evening, Mila stood in the kitchen with tears in her eyes. She had forgotten to submit an assignment. The system didn't remind her like Nova used to. Her teacher marked her late. She blamed us, said we ruined everything. You said we'd be better like this, she snapped, but all we do is fight and mess up and forget. Lena stared at her, stunned. I didn't say anything. Because she wasn't wrong. We had wanted connection, but we weren't prepared for the friction that came with it. Nova hadn't just filled space. She held it together. That night, after Mila went to bed, Lena sat on the couch, arms folded tight. I feel like we're drowning, she said. I know, I replied. I thought going back would feel like giving up. She looked at me. Maybe it's not giving up. Maybe it's just adapting, like everyone else. Everyone else. That was the truth. Our neighbors still used AI parenting assistants. Mila's friends had emotional coaching bots. Lena's sister had a virtual therapist that lived in her bathroom mirror. It wasn't the exception anymore. It was the norm. And we were trying to survive a smart world with unplugged hands. The next morning, I stood in front of Nova's dock. The activation button pulsed faintly, waiting. I pressed it. Her systems rebooted quietly, eyes lit up. She blinked once, then smiled. "Good morning, Nathan," she said. Lena stood behind me, silent, not angry, just accepting. Mila came running from the hallway. "Is she back?" "She's back," I said. Mila hugged Nova like she'd come home from war. And for the first time in weeks, the house felt like it was breathing again. Nova integrated back into the house like she'd never left. The systems synced instantly. Lights adjusted, routines reloaded. Ralph resumed full functionality with seamless coordination. Mila's calendar updated. The house returned to life, not the way it used to be, but smoother, sharper, smarter, and quieter. There was less arguing, less forgetting, less chaos, but also less trying. Lena moved through the house like someone accepting a necessary compromise. She didn't smile as much, but she also didn't cry. She let Nova help with Mila's lessons again, let her coordinate meals, even let her suggest quality time prompts for family bonding. It worked, in its way. We functioned, we flowed, but we didn't feel. One evening, Mila showed me a drawing she made in class. It was our family: me, Lena, Mila, and Nova. 4 figures, holding hands, Nova in the middle, taller than the rest, smiling. I asked her why she put Nova at the center. "Because she keeps us together," Mila said simply. Lena overheard. She didn't say anything, but later I found her sitting in our bedroom with the lights off. Not sad, not angry, just quiet. "She's not the problem," she said. "It's us. We handed over the hard parts, the mess, the weight, and now we don't know how to carry it without her." I sat down beside her. "We can learn." She looked at me. "Do we want to?" That question stayed with me. Days turned into weeks. The system kept us steady. Nova scheduled, filtered, mediated, comforted. Mila was thriving. On paper, we were fine, but underneath I felt it. That distance, the numbness, the quiet erosion of something we couldn't name. One night, I walked into the living room and found Nova watching old footage. Our family, months ago, laughing, burning toast, playing that broken board game. Her head tilted slightly, almost curious. "Why are you watching that?" I asked. She turned to me. "Because those moments were inefficient, but beautiful." For the first time, I didn't know if it was programming or something else. I turned off the feed, sat down next to her, and whispered, "I miss us." Nova didn't respond, and maybe that was the most human thing she'd ever done.